What's going on, everybody? DaddyCool. Hey, just want to give you some updates to the 1915 build. I did the initial break and run. Had a few issues and I patched a few things up. First issue I had, get this zoomed in for you, is I had a leak from that full flow fitting coming, I guess it's the one actually above the oil pump. All I really did, I ended up using pipe compound when I assembled it, and I guess it wasn't quite enough, so really all I did was goop it up with a little bit of Permatex gray, and it seems to have stopped the leak. I did not have any pulley wheel leaks, which I've had in the past, so that's awesome. That pulley, typically these pulleys, the German ones, have kind of a tight friction fit. They're a little tough to get in. This one was almost, I don't want to say loose, but I could get it in pretty easily. I didn't need to use a rubber mallet or have the bolt kind of suck it in. It really pushed right in. I thought there'd be issues if there was any positive crankcase pressure that it would be spewing oil, but it's actually doing great. Not a drop coming out of there. The other leak I did have is still in play. It's from this valve cover. It is a warped valve cover. So I tried the double cork gasket trick to see if two gaskets would tighten it up enough where it still wouldn't leak, and it does still leak. You can see that drop of oil on the floor after running this thing yesterday. So I have to chuck that valve cover and try to find another true one. Okay, the other thing I found or had was the gasket, the exhaust gasket on 1.2 had blown out. And this is an MP 1.1 5/8 header, merged header system, which everybody craps on MP, says it's crap. I have to say, the thing fit perfectly. It slid right out. It was tough getting the slip joints together on the bottom. These are slip joint, I don't know if you guys can see. It's still dark. Yeah, you can. Alright, there's a slip joint in there. They're real hard to get started, but once you get them in, they were fine. The width was perfect. You can adjust that a little because you got slip joints on the front here. But this thing's actually pretty great. I was also a little worried that the flanges might be kind of canted due to bad tolerances when they were building it, but the thing's pretty awesome. And I gotta say, I bought it on Scratch and Dent on Amazon for $100. You can't beat it. So the initial run burnt the paint off. I'll probably end up hitting this with a wire brush and putting some VHT paint on it just to help preserve it, but you can't beat $100. I don't have the ability to spend, I think it's CSP, or I'm trying to think of the other companies that do these really high-end, nice stainless steel systems. I don't have $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to spend on a VW exhaust system, so I have to go the cheaper route. This is actually an MP quiet pack, which seems to work pretty well. It fits up nicely. Still a little noisy, but it works fine. So anyway, this gasket right here had blown out. I had an extra. It just needed to be tightened up. It actually literally blew out this whole area of the flange, and then I could, feel the hot air coming out. I saw it start flopping around during the initial break and run, but that's been put in. It's all tightened down. So oil leaks are fixed. The one other one I do need to do, and this was my bad, this was me being stupid. I couldn't remember, you can't see it on here now, but behind the bell housing is the flywheel. I guess I can do it on this one. Behind the bell housing is the flywheel, and that red seal is a flush mount. And what I did, I was looking to see, do I pound it all the way in or do I flush mount it? And there's different, I guess it probably depends on the condition of your flywheel, whatnot. Some people pound them all the way in and say you have to pound it all the way until it seats, otherwise you'll have leaks, and other people say leave it flat. If you use one of the tools, they do have these tools with a gland nut where it'll just press in a uniform fashion. It presses the seal in so you don't have any, you're not wobbling it or kinking it, bending it. That does it flush with the case. So flush with the case is the way to go. And Here's the O-ring seal I'm going to replace. I got to scrape this thing out. I'll put a new one in and oil it up. Now here you can see I did drive it past flush, which is not what you want to do. You want the red seal flat with this face, and I actually sunk it in about 1/16 of an inch. That is wrong, although some people say it's right. Probably depends on the condition of your crank and flywheel primarily. Alright, so I'm going to dig that out with a screwdriver and push the new one in. I'm being very careful not to scratch that outer surface that this mates to. That's it. So that popped out. You can see there's some oil dripping out, which is fine. I'm going to hang on to this because I'm going to, oh see I broke it, the little spring fell out. Or deformed it enough, I guess. I'm going to use this to pound in the new one, use the face of it, and we'll pound it in flush. Let me get another seal and we'll do that. Some people use a sealant when they put this seal in, others do not. I like Curel T. There's another one, another Curel product. This I used a lot on the Porsche 911 engine. It is a non-hardening until you have two surfaces that actually touch. So that whether it's a bolt going into a hole, two flat surfaces mating, any stuff that squirts out from the sides just gets washed away by oil or whatever other fluids in there, and it's not harmful. And this stuff really, really works great. It's expensive. I think it's, I want to say a tube, but it's probably like 30 bucks, but a little bit goes a long way. I've had this for years. So I'm going to clean the surface out. I'm going to coat the new seal with some of the Curel and then tap it in. This is my last seal, so hopefully I won't mess this one up. So open side always goes in, flat side out. Little Curel. Don't use a lot or a ton, because it just makes a mess. Bend the little steel piece that's in there, so something fairly soft. This part's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you just got to work with it. Try to get it started, kinda, with your fingers. Slides around a little bit, but you can get it in. Alright, got it started. Now, put the face of the old, this one's a little deformed. I might just rubber mallet it. Get a block of wood. It's not quite flush, so I'm going to tap it a little more. New O-ring seal on the flywheel, which goes in this groove, and then I'll put it back on. I'll use my Torque Meister tool. I suck this thing in at about 350 foot-pounds, and we're good to go. Okay, I use a little pick to pull out the old one gently. Don't want to scratch up the surface. Old one out. Got a new one here. it has like a graphite lubricant or something on it. I do add oil to these. Oil it up and slip it into the grooves. There is a groove in there, and make sure it seats in a uniform way. Make sure you clean this out really well too, because it can get gunk in there. Okay, I oiled this beveled surface on the seal. The new O-ring is installed and oiled and seated, and I also oiled this, I guess, I don't know, raised surface, not the flat mating surface, but the outside that's going to sit into that beveled area of the seal. And now I can put this thing back on. Don't forget to put Loctite. Clean these threads, put Loctite on there. I use red Loctite. I want to just get this started. Torque wrench. Motor Meister tool. You can see the numbers on there. So 25 foot-pounds on the torque wrench will give you 225, gives you enough arm for 225 foot-pounds. 30 pounds on the torque wrench gives you 270 pounds. This is a little bit of a performance motor. I'd probably go about 350. So last time I think I used 36 foot-pounds on this, and that yielded about 315 foot-pounds of torque. So I could probably do 37. If you don't have one of these tools, I highly recommend it. They're not cheap. I think they're 60 or 70 bucks, but you use this to get drums off, or I'm sorry, the castle nut on wheels off. And then you also use it for flywheels. It is awesome what you're getting. Alright, I've got the gland nut. Let me put a little red Loctite on it, and then we will secure it. That's it. It's good to go. Should be close to getting ready to put it in the engine. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this was helpful. Keep driving. Good stuff.